Hi everyone, welcome back to my Flosstube. My name is Rachel and this is Lemonade Stitching. Today is Sunday, July 28th. It's rainy and dark here in Lexington, so I apologize if the lighting is weird. When I decided to film today, it was sunny, and in the time it took me to get ready, it got super dark. So I'm hoping there's enough light coming in this window, but I won't really know till I put it on my computer. Anyway, I have lots to show you guys. And I actually have kind of a mini finish parade, which is really exciting. Was not expecting that when the month started, but the FFO bug just really hit me in July, and I finished a bunch of things. Well, fully finished a bunch of things. Most of these were already stitched before the month started. But I'm just gonna jump into that as our first little section of today's video. So, these are in no particular order. I'm just gonna start going. But one thing I kind of learned / taught myself how to do this month was A, make my own cording, and B, do round flat finishes. So I was experimenting with those, and this first piece that I'm gonna show you is actually a piece that I finished last year, I think, in 2023. Yeah, I finished it last June of 2023. And I had been trying to decide how I wanted to finish it. I had some ideas, but didn't really know how to execute them. And I finally figured it out. So I fully finished Calico House. I am obsessed with this. This pattern is from an old leaflet that my grandma gave me. You can actually see it in the Seattle Stitcher's most recent Flosstube because I just sent it to her so that she can stitch this. And it has two like word options for the top. I did Home Sweet Home, but it also has a pattern that says welcome. And I stitched it on 22 count hard hanger, and then I finished it on a piece of mat board with a few pieces of batting to like cushion it. And then I got some navy blue cording from Joann's as well as some ribbon lace, and I just kind of sewed those onto the back. It's not neat by any means. And I added a little extra piece of cording for a hanger, and this is what we ended up with. I absolutely love how it turned out. Very like vintagey, old school finish, but it just gives me like guest bathroom vibes. So I'm gonna hang it up in our downstairs like half bath. And I just think it's super sweet. I was in focus. But yeah, so there's finish number one. This wasn't the first thing I finished, but it's just on the top of the pile. The next two are actually frames. I also learned how to lace. I don't remember if I said that. I learned how to do lacing this past month. I watched Lindy Stitch's video, and it's not a tutorial as she says in her video, but it's pretty good. It did what I needed it to do. It gave me some pointers of how to do lacing and really just make it work because I'm not a professional. I don't care if everything I finish is perfect. I just want it to look nice from far away. And this next piece is actually a piece that I rescued last summer. I'll try and put in a picture from the video that I showed it in last summer, but I thrifted this floral cross stitch piece, and it was stapled actually onto this like 12 by 17 piece of mat board, I think. And for a while I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. I just kind of had it in the closet with my other finishes, but I finally this month decided, all right, this is getting taken off. It's getting a spa day. We're gonna wash her up, press her, and reframe her in a size that makes a lot more sense to put on the wall. So I had a little spa day, took this beauty off of her mat board and laced her into an 8 by 10 frame. And this is one of those cheap like plastic frames that you can just pop things in and out of. And I wasn't sure if this is gonna work because I wasn't sure like how much wiggle room there would be for like the fabric on the side, if that makes sense. Like it would be too big, but it worked out perfectly. This is a pre-cut 8 by 10 photo board. I got a pack on Amazon during Prime Day, and that way I didn't have to measure anything, and I just laced it on, popped it in the frame. This is the back in case anyone's interested. There's a lot of extra fabric, so it pretty much covers the back. I didn't cut any of it off. But yeah, right now I don't have this one hung up. I have it like sitting on my mantle, and it's super pretty. I think this frame, I don't even know if you can tell, but the light black edge on it, I feel like just lets the cross stitch really shine, and it doesn't take away from the piece. So I love this, super happy to have it. And the initials and date are in the piece from when it was first stitched. And I was drawn to this because the initials are RM and my initials are RL, and my middle name is Marie. So I was like, oh, I could pretend this is mine, Rachel Marie. But this was stitched in 96, so I wasn't even alive. But it's so pretty, and I'm so happy that I finally have it displayed. Next, another piece that I framed. I have shown this before. It's gone through several frames since I finished it, and this is my succulent piece. While I was on my little finishing rampage, I was trying to get some stuff out of my project roll and also into the frames that I already had. And I don't love this finishing, but I had an empty frame in my gallery wall, and I was just like, I need to put something in it. So for now, I have succulent framed in this dark brown frame. My gallery wall is like tans and dark brown and green, so I thought the succulent would look nice. It just doesn't really match the vibe, but I don't know. I have it up there for now until I get sick of it or have a better idea. This used to be in a 12 by 12 frame with an 8 by 8 mat. It was like white and gray, I think, if I remember correctly, but I had to take it out of that frame and use that for a gift a couple of years ago. So it's just been homeless since I deframed it, but for now it's in here. This was laced as well, again on the same like pre-cut 8 by 10 mat boards. And it actually fit into the back and everything. I was able to put the back on the frame. It just has those little like cheap wire clips that like fold over it, but it's pretty. It just, I don't know. There's just something about it I don't love. It's like not the perfect size. Really, this needs a custom frame because it's almost exactly 8 by 8, but it's like it's like from top stitch to bottom stitch, it goes exactly 8 by 8, so there's no room around it. And I feel like that's the issue. Like that's why I don't love it. But oh well, it's still pretty. And I stitched it myself, so gotta be proud of that. Alrighty, let's see. Next is Good Friends. I stitched this with the girlies at StitchCon. I think I showed the finish last time in my last video. Yeah, I showed it in my last Flosstube, but I fully finished it this month into an ornament. This was actually what started it all this month because I really wanted to get this done, and I was actually able to put this on the mat board that this floral one was on. So like when I took the staples out, obviously the edge of the board was kind of ruined from just being old and being stapled, but there was a lot of mat board in there. So I was able to use a couple of pieces and frame this as an ornament. This is Good Friends stitched on 18 count Dove Ada by Millennial Fabrics. And I just cut out a little circle. I think this is like a 4-inch circle if I remember correctly. And then I used some thrifted fabric on the back, and I made some cording out of some extra purple and green DMC floss that I had, and I just stitched this on best I could. If you want, or if you're interested in making your own cording, I used Tiger Lily Designs tutorial. It was super easy, super fast, so would recommend. It's not as hard as it may appear. Attaching it is certainly something that you have to practice, so this is not perfect by any means, but it is absolutely good enough for me. And yeah, I think it came out so cute. And the way I tied it, I had like the loose ends down here as a little tail, and then I just tied a knot up here to make the little hanger. So love it. It is so cute, and it matches so well. Like I just had this fabric in stash. It was actually a long strip that I had to sew. I don't know if you can tell that there's a seam in the middle. And then, so between that fabric and this floss that I found for the cording, perfect match. It all goes so well. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? The next FFO is a similar finish to that, and it's actually going to segue into the next thing I want to talk about. And this is the Midsummer Stitch freebie that I stitched and fully finished during Midsummer Stitch last weekend. I'm sure you probably saw on Instagram and I've heard about it on Flosstube already, but Midsummer Stitch was a virtual little stitching retreat hosted by Steph from Lindy Stitches. It was so fun. I had an amazing time. I got to host a table with the girlies. So that is Megan the Seattle Stitcher, Bridget the Museum Stitcher, Cam from Cam the Stitcher, Marjorie from Marjorie Made, and Elizabeth from Frizzy Lizzy Stitches. Maddie, who is Kitty Stitch on Instagram, is also one of the girlies, but she was out of town traveling, so she was not able to join us. But we all had so much fun having the table and getting to meet you guys and chat and just hang out. I went to a few other stitching tables too, and it was just so much fun. I had such a good time. So thank you, Steph, for hosting an amazing event. Thank you everyone who came and participated, everyone else who hosted tables, and everyone who did classes and all of it. Tiny Modernist, who designed our freebie for the year. Thank you. I stitched the freebie with the called for colors on, oh my gosh, what color fabric is this? That is a great question. 20 count Esmeralda Ada by Atomic Ranch, which is just like a dark blue. And then I finished it with DIY cording. I had barely enough to go around the whole thing because I was using like the same color that was in the design, and yeah, I had just enough. I did not have enough of the darker pink to do a 2-color cording, but the longer I have it up, the more I like it with just one solid color. And I stitched it on mat board the same way I did the Good Friends piece, and just used thrifted fabric on the back. And I think it coordinates really well. This is actually an old placemat that I've used for a couple other things. I made like a little orc catcher out of it, thread bed, and now I have a matching ornament. So yeah, super sweet, super quick stitch. I think it was like 600 stitches, so I was able to finish it in 2 days and then whip together a finish. Everyone was like, how did you finish that already? And the only reason I think I was able to finish it so fast is because I had just finished like 4 other projects, and so I just was in that mindset, and I had just done basically this exact finish, so I knew how to do it and it was fresh on my mind. Most of my supplies were out. Otherwise it probably would have gone in my project roll and stayed there for way too long. But I don't know, I'm really excited to have a bunch of little ornaments and hang them up on a little cross stitch tree for different like events and memories and stuff like that. So super happy with how these came out. I need to find a place to put them for now. Right now they're just hanging on this little like shelf I have in my entryway because I have no idea what to do with them. The other thing I wanted to talk about from Midsummer Stitch is the Stitchy Case, and this was a class led by Annie. Her Instagram and Flosstube is XO Needle in the Hay XO, and she had a super cute, I think it was like an hour and a half class about how to customize a jewelry box into a stitchy case, whether that be for a particular project, for your stitching spot, as a gift, whatever it may be. So I took her class, got some inspo, and then a couple days after the retreat, I was able to make my little stitching box. So I just wanted to show this. I got the green jewelry case that she shared, and then I used a bunch of thrifted fabrics. So I have like this vintage floral one in the back, and then I have pink on one side, purple on the other, and green in the middle. And this actually lifts up, and let me take these needles out so you can see, but there's more green in the bottom. And I just filled this up with a bunch of goodies, as you can see. So in the center is where I'm keeping needles, and then it has a little thread bed on top, just with some batting. On this side, I have my scissors and a couple little magnetic cable ties. These are what I use instead of needle minders, just because they hold the fabric and act as a needle minder. And then on this side, I have a tape measure, a little pin cushion that Maddie gave out at StitchCon, And then I have this little section here that just has a thimble, my beading needle, and a needle threader. So yeah, on the top is more decorative. I have some little charms from StitchCon that I just kind of clipped onto this pocket. I have my bookmark that I made during Manning May, and then just a pen and a pencil. And that is my stitching case. This has been living by my stitchy spot for the last couple of days, and it's very helpful. Definitely a step up from the like pencil box that I took to StitchCon, so I'm really happy to have this. I might make another one in the future for like travel size box, but yeah, honestly, this isn't even that big. Like if I'm packing a project bag, I feel like I could pack this, depending on what the trip is, where I'm going. But yeah, I think that's everything I have from Midsummer Stitch. Like I said, it was amazing. It was a Friday night and then all day Saturday. I loved getting to hang out with everyone, especially getting to talk to my friends and just catch up. Because like it's not the same texting and sending messages as it is to just like sit and talk like real time. So it was just amazing. I do have one more FFO that is also a good segue into the next section of the video, which is Christmas in July. I mentioned in my last Flosstube that I was going to be doing Christmas in July this month, and I had 4 projects picked out. And the first one I'm going to tell you about is my Mill Hill kit, because I was able to start, finish, and FFO this guy. This is my first Mill Hill kit I've ever done, and it is called Ruby Ornament, and this one is all beading. There's no cross stitch in this. I was expecting it to be hard and scary, and it was so easy. It literally came together in 2 days, and it has a beaded chain on the top, and then I just finished it with a piece of cardboard on the back. Whoa. And it's super sweet. This will be going on the tree for Christmas. So I'm gonna go put it with our Christmas decorations after this, and I'll see you again in December. But I was super happy to have a finish for Christmas in July this year. And then I did work on the other 3 projects that I said I was going to work on. So I guess I'll kind of go in order of the projects I did. So the first one I started with was the Hess Christmas sign, which you have seen before. This is using the Santa alphabet from the Almalin Designs leaflet, and there isn't really a good cover photo of it on this leaflet, but the example is this welcome sign back here. And I am using the alphabet to stitch Hess, which is my fiance's last name. And I don't remember where it was when I last showed it to you guys, but I will say I did a bunch of stitching on this on Friday for another Stitchy challenge that I'm participating in. So it got a lot more time than I thought it was going to. But here is where we are on Hess. This is on 32 count taupe Lugana, and it's with DMCs. I did change the letter or the color of the letters themselves, but the Santas are stitched called for. Oh, they look so, so good. I'm so excited. I'm getting really close to the end on this one. Let me pull up markup. I have about 800 stitches to go. I'm 80% done. The counting on this for like tracking isn't perfect because there's a ton of half stitches, which markup like doesn't really know how to handle, but it's close enough, and I'm just ecstatic to have this done. So the letters, like the brown part of the letters, I'm stitching in hand, and then the Santas I just stitch in a hoop. So I have back stitching on the first S and then finishing the letter out, and then just a little bit of work on the second S, including like the whole letter itself, because I only have that little top part done so that I could count over. But I'm so excited. This is gonna be so cute. And I really only worked on this for like 2 days at the beginning of the month, and I didn't want to pull it back out because stitching the Santa is just a lot of work sometimes. Like mentally, just you're switching colors so often that I felt like I couldn't get a good significant chunk done on here. But the 2 S's actually ended up being huge sections of solid color on the Santas, so it went by a lot quicker than I was expecting. So I love how this is coming out, and hopefully it'll be done relatively soon. I don't want to say by the end of August, but like definitely before Christmas it'll be done. We'll see what I'm feeling in a couple of weeks and how much I want to keep working on this one. Because I am excited to pull some other projects out. Like, I've been stitching on Christmas for a month now. I'm ready to do something else, switch it up. The next project I worked on was Celtic Noel. And when you guys last saw this one, the borders were not completed. And so that was my main focus during Christmas in July. And here is where I feel like I'm out of practice, but also I say that every single time I film a Flosstube. Where is my cover photo for this? Celtic Noel by Lavender and Lace. So this is what the finished project looks like. Love her. Oh, so gorgeous. And now that I've done the beading on the mill hill, I'm super excited to do beading on this. I just wish I was ready to bead right now, but I still have a ton of stitching to do. Here she is. It is looking incredible. I did reach the bottom of the piece, so I have the full length, and I finished the borders, other than the beads, of course. But the DMC metallic thread on this, I have said several times, is just horrible. And I actually stitch fiddled this month because it was just so hard to work off of the paper pattern. And while I was stitch fiddling it, I realized that I have another like 2,000 stitches of just the gold metallic thread. And I had previously said I was not going to switch threads because, you know, I had already made it this far. I don't want to like have different colors showing up. But once I realized how much gold I had left, I was like, there's no way I can stitch with this metallic thread anymore. This is the one that I've been using. This is the DMC like spool. God. And it's just horrible. I hate using it. So I'm going to Keepsake soon. I did check out my local needlework shop, but it's more of, or not my local needle point shop, because they have a bunch of stuff, and they have like a whole display of Kreinik. So I picked one up, but I wasn't really paying attention to the size, and I actually got like a super thick, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like 6 or 10 strands of Kreinik, like a 10-strand braid. So this is way too thick to use. But I'm just gonna color match. Where did that go? I'm gonna color match the gold that I'm currently using and switch it up for the dress. This whole, I have a mess today. Oh my gosh. The whole bottom part of the dress down here, I'm gonna do that in like a Kreinik or Petite Treasure braid. Because if it's like slightly different than the border color, I think that's fine because it's not the same thing. But I definitely didn't want to have like the top half of the border in one color gold and then the bottom half in another color gold, because that definitely would have looked out of place. But yeah, I will be finding something that's easier to use than the DMC for sure, because that is a lot of stitching to do with a thread that you don't like. But she's so pretty. I love looking at it. I'm so excited to beat it. But I have a long way to go. She is 35% done, but I don't think that counts the beads. Or actually, it might count the beads. Oh yeah, that does count the beads. So I've done 6,062 stitches on this pattern, and including the beads, there's like 11,000 more, but obviously those aren't all cross stitches. Some of that is beading. So 35% done, but definitely further done with the cross stitch. I just don't have an exact number because the way I stitch fiddled it, it's all in the same pattern. So love her. What is this? There's stuff everywhere. Okay, my last Christmas in July project was a new start, and I talked about this in my plans last time. I was super excited to get started on this, and it is the Fox by Cottage Garden Samplings. Let me take this out of the little bag so that you can see it without the glare. But here is the chart. Super cute. Every time I saw someone stitch this, I wanted it a little more, and then I was able to find the pattern on sale, and I had bought the perfect fabric at StitchCon. So I thought, yep, this will be getting started. It's not necessarily a Christmas piece, but it is winter, and that was close enough for me because nothing else was really calling my name to start, and I didn't really have anything else that was like ready to start. Like this one, I had fabric for it. I was able to get the pattern on sale, so I feel like it just lined up that it was ready to stitch. And I actually got so far on this. I was really surprised. At first it was going kind of slow just because like the trees and the little snowflakes and stuff, you're just jumping around a lot. But once I got going on this, I was able to get like a solid 2,000 stitches done. And this is where we are. I did a top left start and worked my way. I did all like the top trees and snowflakes before moving on to the fox because I just wanted to have it like framed up really nicely. And now I have the face in, and it's so, so, so cute. I'm so obsessed. This is stitched on a 40 count. 40 count what? I have no idea. 40 count. Here we go. 40 count Earl Grey by Grace Notes. And like I said, I got this at StitchCon, so I do have another like little more than a fat eighth left because I got a quarter and I cut this strip off, but I don't think it was a full eighth. I don't remember though, but I have at least a fat eighth left, so I can definitely do another project on here. But it's so cute. I love it so much. I did mess up this. Where is it? This side over here, one of the snowflakes is like up one and over one from where it's supposed to be, but I'm just leaving it. So it's like this snowflake and then all these two trees and a couple of snowflakes because I counted off from each other. But I'm just leaving it as is. I don't even care. It's not really gonna affect anything because of the space between the other motifs. So I just need to remember, like, as I get down into the body to not count off the trees and that it's okay if they're off. So we'll see if I remember that. But I have a feeling I'm going to stitch on this one pretty regularly and get it done. So I don't think it'll be like, I don't pick it up for several months and I have time to forget that it has that mistake in it. But I'm using all the called for colors on that one. Has two over-dyed flosses, fancy flosses. It uses the Gentle Arts chalk and burnt orange. Whoa, I am so washed out. The chalk one really doesn't have much variation to it, so now if I were to stitch it again, I probably would just use DMC white. But it's fun. It's fun sometimes to, you know, fill your stash with some fancy flosses. And it was only two, so I was like, might as well. But the burnt orange is definitely pretty. Has a lot of variation in it. And, oh, the sun is coming out. Hopefully that lighting is a little better. I pulled my shade down now that it stopped raining. Hopefully I'm less washed out now, but here are the two fancy flosses. Love. Okay. So that is everything I stitched for Christmas in July, everything I stitched at Midsummer Stitch. I did get a few, you know, stitches in here and there, but I am saving those for my next Flosstube because everything that I put a few stitches in the last couple of weeks is going to come back up for the Stitch the Summer Olympics challenge that is being hosted by the Naptime Stitcher. I am super excited for that. I saw her post it a couple of weeks ago on Instagram, immediately screenshotted the graphic because I knew I wanted to participate. And what she's done is she's basically, I'll put the graphic up so that you can see it, but she has assigned every day from July 26th through August 11th with a different theme based around like the different Olympic sports. So like on the first day, July 26th, the theme was opening ceremony. So either do a new start or stitch something that you started this year. Yesterday was July 27th, the Parade of Nations. So stitch something patriotic for any country, your country, it doesn't matter. Today, the theme is Summer Olympics. So you stitch something related to summer. and so on and so forth. You can go, they're all listed on Instagram. A lot of people have reposted it, so you can definitely go check them all out and join in at any time. The hashtag for the challenge is hashtag Stitch the Summer Olympics. And I actually made a super cute little graphic kind of planning out what I wanted to stitch on when, which I will also put up for you guys. And so I have several projects picked out that I'm going to work on throughout the next couple of weeks. I do have a couple of days that I just didn't really have anything that fit the prompt really well. And so I just left those blank rather than trying to make something fit, and I'll just stitch on whatever I'm feeling that day. And then my birthday is on August 5th, and so instead of doing the Summer Olympics prompt that day, I'm actually going to be doing a new birthday start. I think I've talked about this before, definitely in my StitchCon like wrap-up video I talked about it, but I am stitching in the garden, not in the garden, in the library by Mojo Stitches for my birthday this year. It was going to be a StitchCon start. There were some issues with the threads, so it is now a birthday start. And I actually ordered the thread pack from Cottage Garden threads. Oh my god, they're so pretty. I actually am just going to have to like hold them all up one by one because they just need some time to shine. Let me see. So there were 4 threads in particular that were super unique to Cottage Garden threads. And I felt like they really made the piece. And so I was gonna do a conversion, and then I realized like I just cannot find a replacement for those 4 threads. So I was gonna buy the Cottage Garden threads, but then I couldn't find a shop that had all 4 of them in stock. So then I decided, well, looks like we're just buying the thread pack from Cottage Garden threads directly. Graham actually got it for me as a birthday gift, and hence why I've waited to do a birthday start, because I just feel like I can't start my birthday start in June because then it's not as fun. But anyway, I'll hold up the different threads. There are 12-ish, 13, I don't know. So here's some. Oh my god, they're all so pretty. I haven't even unwound them yet because the way they like hang them up, I'm obsessed. And they're not gonna look as cute when they're like long and straggly. But all the colors are gorgeous. These first ones that I'm showing you are the ones that were like normal enough that I could have found over dyed conversions. These ones as well. These ones are a little more unique, but like still I could have found similar colors from other dyers. But these next ones are the ones that I like could not find a replacement for, and I was like, I definitely have to buy these because they're just so fun and they have so many colors in them. And I just like, when I look at in the library, I don't want the color conversion version, I want the cover photo. So, and in order to get the cover photo, I need the Cottage Garden threads. So this is where we are. That's a long way of saying I'm doing in the library for my birthday start. But super cute. Shipping took a couple of weeks because it was coming from Australia, but that's okay because I didn't need to start it till August. And then I think I showed this fabric before as well, but I will show it again. This is, I'm losing all of my little tags today. This is 36 count Atomic Ranch Weathered Stone, and I don't think it's gonna come up on camera very well, but it's like a whitish, creamish linen that just has the slightest little green hints to it. To be honest, it really depends on the lighting whether or not you can see the green. I was looking at this the other day and I was like, where did all the green go? But it's cute, pretty simple, and it'll really let all the colors pop that are in the piece. And then I also just yesterday made a little special bag for it with some fabric that I thrifted a couple weeks ago, and it has books on it, super cute, just a basic little zipper pouch, and it has a blue lining with a matching blue zipper. So, is it perfect? No. Did my machine repel the zipper every time I tried to sew it? Yes. The tutorial I followed said it would take 15 minutes. It took me an hour and a half, but it's okay. I don't know what I was doing when I was trying to sew this, but every couple of minutes my thread would just disintegrate and snap. And I was like, I don't know if the tension's bad, I don't know if the thread is bad, I don't know if my machine is bad, but it was horrible. I was like, I told my friends, I was like, next time I want to sew something, slap me across the face. Like, tell me I do not like to sew, because I just get so frustrated and like I just want to give up. But then instead of giving up, I just like push through and just make myself more mad, and then I'm hot and dehydrated because I can't stand up till the project's done. And I of course didn't bring my water because I thought it was only gonna be a 15-minute project, and it's just a whole thing. I'm sure I'll sew something else soon because I have like several more bags that I want to make, and I just bought like 6 zippers from Joann's, but I'm gonna need a cooling off period before I can sew anything else. But yeah, so that is it for plans. I haven't really planned any more into August. I think after Stitch the Summer Olympics, a solid month and a half of structure will be enough structure for me, and I'll just kind of want to see what speaks to me, what I want to pick up. See what's done too. I think I could easily finish 2 projects during Stitch the Summer Olympics, depending on if I move things around, because I have several projects that like could be adapted, or like for some prompts I have several projects that could fit that prompt. So we'll see, but I don't know. There could be 1 or 2 Stitch the Summer Olympics finishes in our future. But I'll be posting pretty much every day for Stitch the Summer Olympics on my Instagram so that you can keep up and see what projects I end up choosing to stitch. And yeah, I'm super excited. The last part of the video is going to be haul. I have 2 places that I shopped in the last couple of weeks. And so if you don't want to see the haul, thank you so much for watching. If you do want to see the haul, let's get into it. The first place I went shopping was Lindy Stitches. Midsummer Stitch is not a shopping related retreat. There's no shopping during the retreat, but Steph does run an online cross stitch shop, and so I of course checked out her shop post retreat and got a couple of things. I got 2 pieces of linen. So I got a 40 count flax. Let's see how the colors do today. This is like a cooler toned beige tan color. I don't think it's really gonna show up, but I feel like a lot of people have stitched on flax before, so I know Megan is stitching something on flax, so go check out her recent video. I literally just watched it yesterday morning, so that's why it's like fresh in my mind. But then I also got 40 count Winter Moon, and this one is more of like a warm beige. So I got a warm beige and a cool beige, just some good neutrals to have in stash. I feel like the colors are a lot better there, like when they're next to each other. The flax I might be using for the 2025 Modern Folk Embroidery Sale. TBD. Don't know. I definitely want something in this genre, this like cool tone beige, but I'm gonna have to look at a couple more options before I commit to one. And then I got 2 patterns. They're both Teresa Kogut. I got Just a Girl and Making Beautiful Things. I saw these at StitchCon and I knew I wanted them. I just wasn't ready to purchase them because I wasn't going to stitch them, but they're so cute. And I was talking with the girls a lot at StitchCon about how we wanted to stitch them and like different changes people wanted to make. So I'm sure at some point when I stitch these, I might switch up the colors a little bit to make them match my style, but I'm not 100% sure. But I just love the little words on here. If you haven't seen these patterns around anywhere, they say just a girl with needle and thread making beautiful things, and so they're really cute to like stitch together on one fabric or frame together or anything of that nature. So I'm super excited to have these in stash, and hopefully I'll get to stitch them next year at some point. The last thing I got from Lindy Stitches was a snag nabbit. I did already open this, so it won't come this destroyed, but I wanted to put it back together so that you guys could see. If you've never heard of a snag nabbit, it's like a handy little tool for pulling like loose threads through your linen, like to the back side if there's little like snags or something on the front. Maddie was telling me about this at StitchCon, and so I was basically just waiting till I placed an online order to add one on because it's like $3, so I'm not going to order this by itself. But yeah, love that. Happy to have it. It will be going directly into my little Stitchy case. And that's it for Lindy Stitches. And then I did a Facebook D-Stash order. I love checking Facebook D-Stash. I don't order from there very often just because a lot of the times there are charts I could get other places for the same amount, if not less. But every once in a while there is something I like, and then even less often than that, there is something that is still available for me to get and someone hasn't beat me to it. So in this particular order, I got 3 things. I have a piece of just like army green linen. This is a 28 count, 12 by 12 cut. And I don't know what'll go on this, but I love green. So, and this was $5. So I just threw it onto my order because it was from the same woman that I got these next 2 patterns from. And it'll just make a good piece to have in stash. But these patterns, I am so excited. I didn't necessarily have these like on my list of things that I was looking for, but when I saw them, I knew I needed to buy them. And so the first one I saw was Lavender and Lace Oh Christmas Tree. I'm obsessed, and now that I'm getting more into my Celtic Noel, I want this one too. Like I want to stitch this one too and have them both hanging up at Christmas time. It's just so gorgeous, and it's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. I have not even opened these yet. They're still sealed shut, but I'm excited to stitch this someday. Maybe like Christmas 2025 I'll start this one. And it'll just be super cute, like old school Christmas that I can hang up at some point if I ever finish it. And then the other piece that I got that I also want to start next year is Lavender and Lace The Bride. I am getting married in 2025, and literally until I saw this, I never would have thought of stitching a fancy lady like this, or just like something this style. But when I saw it, I was like, you know, that would be so fun to stitch for myself and like for my wedding. And just like a commemorative piece for like this stage of my life. And so yeah, she's so pretty, and now that I love beads, I'm really excited to work on that. I don't know when I'll start it. I definitely don't want to wait until the wedding. I'd like to have at least a chunk of it done before the wedding, but yeah, I'll probably put both of these in stitch fiddle, which will take a significant amount of time, but I don't know, I don't want to ruin the paper patterns, and I also just love working off my iPad so much. So I think it's worth the time. I've gotten pretty good at it, so it doesn't take too long, but obviously it takes time no matter what you're doing. So, but yeah, that is everything, all the haul, just a little bit. I feel like when I buy things, I buy a bunch of things, and then I don't buy anything for a little while. But yeah, that is everything I have to show you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for all the support recently. I just posted a wish list video, just kind of like walking through what's on my wish list right now. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on that video. People seem to really enjoy it and just seeing some different patterns. So I am planning to film another version of it that is like what's in my stash that I really want to film or really want to stitch. These will definitely be in there because they're like on deck to be stitched in the next year. And then I have some other patterns that would have been in the wish list video had I not already impulse bought them, even though I don't know when I'm going to start them yet. So I'm planning to film that in the next couple of weeks. I'm not sure exactly when, but hopefully I'll have more time coming up in the next couple of weeks. My summer class is finishing up, and then I actually just quit my weekend part-time job because I got a remote internship. So I'm hoping that even though it's still a second job, since it's remote, I'll have a little bit more time and energy to film floss tubes regularly. So yeah, anyway, that'll come at some point, so keep your eyes out, and I will of course post on Instagram when that is up and ready to be watched. My Instagram is the same as my Flosstube if you want to give me a follow there. And I will thank you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day, week, happy stitching, and I will see you in my next Flosstube.